So in my last video, I ranked my top 10 point guards in the NBA currently, and if you haven't seen that, make sure you check it out. A card should be on the screen and a link will be down below in the description box. But in today's video, we're going to rank the top 10 shooting guards in the NBA, and I think this will be a pretty straightforward list. I think you guys will agree with me for the most part. And just a side note, Klay Thompson will not be on this list, obviously due to injury, which will affect how certain players were actually put on this list. But without further ado, make sure you drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and push the bell for post notifications. And let's get started with player number 10. Coming in at number 10, we have Portland's own CJ McCollum. This year he's had an incredible season that was even rivaling his crime-fighting partner Damian Lillard's box score averages, averaging 27, 5, and 4 on 62% true shooting. CJ McCollum was incredible to start out the year. The only reason I don't have him higher than certain other players, because with averages like that he should be, is simply due to the fact that he did get injured. But in the games that CJ played, an argument could be made he was Portland's best offensive player. We all know how incredible CJ is as a scorer, with the ability to score on all three levels at the free throw line, the mid-range game, the three-point shot. CJ McCollum is the definition of having a bag, something that Pascal Siakam lacks. But let me not clown Siakam too much. I know Raptors fans hate it when I do that, but in regards to CJ McCollum, I expect him to return with the same passion he had before and continue his play on the offensive side of the ball. Though defensively, we all know he's not that great on that side, I do believe what he provides on the offensive side of the ball, combined with his improvement this season, could help the Portland Trailblazers push for a deep playoff run. But moving on to player number 9, we have Fred VanVleet. VanVleet went from an outcast, a loser, a nobody, an undrafted NBA player, to now being an NBA champion, averaging 21 points per contest this year, and just signed a 4-year, $84 million extension this offseason. Yes, that is the story of a true come up. Shout out to Fred VanVleet, because no matter what, he is a winner in life, straight up. And as I said earlier, he's been a 20 point per game scorer this season, along with 6 assists and 4 rebounds, shooting 38% from behind the arc on nearly 9 attempts per contest. He's been somewhat of a reliable offensive player this year, though he can be inconsistent at times. He's still very important to that Toronto Raptors team, who is trying to push for a playoff opportunity this season, and he can share some of those ball handling responsibilities with Kyle Lowry, as they both can be off guards whenever the other wants to be the primary initiator of offense, which speaks to VanVleet's versatility as an offensive player, combined with his ability on the defensive end that many on this list actually lack. And I think you for sure have a top 10 shooting guard in Fred VanVleet. But moving on to player number 9, we have Cleveland's Collin Sexton. Sexton was overlooked as one of the better young players in the league last season, as he was a 20 point per game scorer last year. But this year he gained a lot of fame and notoriety when he took down the Brooklyn Nets in one of the best performances of his career, scoring 45 points in an overtime win. But I think a lot of people need to understand Sexton has been hooping since day one, and this season has been nothing short of what we knew he was capable of if you were actually just paying attention and watching his games, as currently he's averaging nearly 24 points per contest along with 4 assists on some of the best shooting splits in the league, shooting 49% from the field, 43% from 3, albeit on only 4 attempts per contest, while also shooting 81% at the free throw line. And to even make it more impressive what he's doing, he's one of the better perimeter defenders on this list. As we all know, he's feisty on that side of the ball, and the Cleveland Cavaliers' overall defense has benefited due to his efforts on that side as well. Sexton's athleticism combined with the improvement in his jump shot has not only made him one of the better young players in the league, but one of the better shooting guards as well, worthy of this number 8 selection. Moving on to number 7, we got my boy Zach LaVine. Now, for those who do not know, because I get this question seemingly every single day, I am a Bulls fan, so you know how I feel about Zach LaVine. I definitely think he's one of the league's best, and I think it will be a crime if he is not an all-star this year. But with that being said, let's actually discuss what he's done this season, as he's averaging 27, 5, and 5 on 51% from the field, 41% from behind the arc, and 86% at the free throw line, which accumulates to a true shooting percentage of 64%. this is by far his best offensive year to date, as he's not only remained one of the league's best three-point shooters, but even from the mid-range, he has shown tremendous strides in that area, as this year he's shooting 50% on all of his mid-range jumpers. On the defensive end, he may lack in comparison to a lot of others, but he makes up for it for what he does on the offensive side of the ball, and even his defense on ball has actually improved. And if we could just trade Lauri Markkanen and run an offense with LaVine and Pat Will, Kobe White, man, we're gonna be deadly to watch. But hey, I don't want to get into that. That's a topic for another day. Let's move on to player number 6, which is Devin Booker. This year, D-Book has kind of gotten off to a little bit of a slow start in comparison to his other seasons, but considering the circumstances combined with the fact that the Suns are the 4th seed in the Western Conference with a record of 14-9, I would say the sacrifice in his stats just shows how great of a player he actually is, being willing to do so for the sake of winning basketball games. And regardless of what the stats will tell you in the box score, we all know what Devin Booker is capable of on a night-to-night basis. Because like I said about CJ, the same thing applies to D-Book. His bag is deep. Ensured defensively, he's not going to bring what a lot of others have on this list, but what he provides on the offensive end pales in comparison to what a lot of others can give you. But moving on to our top 5, starting it off, we're going to go with Jalen Brown. Jalen Brown and Devin Booker, I have to admit, was a very, very tough decision. And by no means am I saying Jalen Brown is a better offensive player, or at least a better scorer than Devin Booker. That is not what I'm saying at all. D-Book's bag is bigger, but D-Book is not the defender that Jalen Brown is, and that's why I gave Jalen Brown the edge. And even as far as production, Jalen Brown's offensive production has been on par with many great shooting guards in this league today, averaging 26, 5, and 4, shooting 51% from the field, 42% from behind the arc, on nearly 6 attempts per contest, which is a career high in attempts and percentage, while also having a career high in his free throw percentage at 76%. He's been attacking the rim with ease and efficiency like he always does. His mid-range game looks solid, and his three-point shot has come along to the point that it's nearly elite levels right now. And when you combine that with his on-ball defense being the definition of lockdown, him being in the top 5 shooting guards was a must. I had to show him his just due. But moving on to player number 4, we have Washington's Bradley Beal. I'm not going to spend too much time on him because I did just make a video about Beal recently, but we all know what Beal is capable of on a night-to-night basis. Currently, he's averaging 33 points per contest, which leads all players in points per game, and he's really just picking up where he left off last year, trying to drag one of the league's worst defenses into the Eastern Conference playoffs with another 30-point per game season. And as much as I keep telling people we need to stop quote-unquote feeling sorry for Bradley Beal because he wants to stay in Washington despite their struggles, I do believe that Beal is still one of the better shooting guards in the league, and I would consider him a top 20 player in the NBA as well, because what he's doing right now is still incredible. The guy is averaging 33 points a game. You can't just take that away from him. He is definitely a bona fide top 5 shooting guard in this league. But now moving on into the top 3, at number 3 we have Donovan Mitchell, who by all accounts should be an MVP candidate at the very least, because sure, he may not be the front runner. I believe that's Joel Embiid, but what he is doing right now is still nothing short of sensational, as he's leading the Utah Jazz currently to the #1 record in the Western Conference and in the NBA. Yes, the Utah Jazz have the #1 record in the league right now, and D-Mitch is averaging 24, 5, and 4 on 43% from the field, nearly 42% from 3, and 84% at the free throw line, which accumulates to a true shooting percentage of 57%. It seems like what Shaq has said is working, because D-Mitch has been amazing since then, and really just considering how his numbers have translated into the win column better than almost anybody on this list, I should say, I think his spot in the top 3 is justified for those reasons. But moving on to number 2 on the list, we have Paul George. Now, to be honest with you, I could have put Paul George on the shooting guard list, I could have put him on the small forward list, and there are going to still be people that say he's a shooting guard, he's a small forward, and honestly, I don't even care, because when you look at the Clippers' most used lineup, it's Patrick Beverley, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Nicholas Batum at the 4, and Serge Ibaka at the 5, so fuck it, I'm going to go with Paul George at the shooting guard position. And so far this season, PG has definitely proved the haters wrong, and so far this year, PG is definitely putting on a show for his haters as he's averaging 24 points, a career high in assists with 6 a game, along with 6 rebounds per contest on an insane true shooting percentage of 66%. Paul George has been one of the most efficient scorers in NBA history so far this year. And honestly, the fact that nobody cares is just a testament to how much he has damaged his own reputation. But in regards to PG's skill set, we all know what he's capable of on the offensive side of the ball. I talked about it in a recent video. Check it out if you haven't seen it already. He's easily one of the most versatile offensive players in NBA history, as this year he's expanded his range in the playmaking area, and combine that with the fact that he's one of the better two-way players in the league and the best defender on this list, I think he is undoubtedly the second best shooting guard in the NBA. But moving on to number 1, is there any doubt who it is? It's James Harden. The Beard has been the best shooting guard in the league for what feels like forever, and that's not changing anytime soon, as I don't see him slowing down anytime soon. He's currently averaging a career high in assists, which leads the league as well with 11 a game, as throughout his time in Brooklyn so far this year, he's taken on the role of being the primary initiator of offense, as somebody has to take on that role with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving on his team as his co-stars. I believe that James Harden will thrive in his new role in Brooklyn, as he's already doing so, breaking records day by day. And sure, defensively, I would definitely like a little bit more effort to be shown, especially on that Brooklyn Nets team that needs it, but offensively, his capabilities are second to not that many players in NBA history, and I would actually make the argument that James Harden is a top 5 scorer of all time, if not at the very least a top 10 scorer. But that concludes this video, you guys. Make sure you drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Push the bell for post notifications and comment your opinions. I would love to know what you guys thought about this list. If you think I left any players off or I put somebody on here that shouldn't be here, let me know and I'll respond to as many people as I possibly can. This is your boy Young Mustard signing out. Follow me on social media. The links are in the description box. Peace.